Released internationally in 2013, Animal Crossing New Leaf finally graced the Nintendo DS screens of ravenous fans who had been waiting an eternity since the last mainline title. And that's even if you're counting City Folk, the generally less popular Wii game. It'd been a whole 7 years since World. I still see a fair number of players stating that New Leaf is their favourite game in the series, even to this day, and I definitely sunk more than my fair share of hours into it, avoiding homework as a teenager. So why not give it another chance? Let's play Animal Crossing New Leaf in 2024. So after booting up the game and starting a new save file, it was finally time to get in to New Leaf once again. I've not played this game for so many years. First off, we were met on the train by Rover, which is just such a throwback. I absolutely love this cat. Rover says he's got a quick question for us, which is just checking the current date and time, and then he comes and sits opposite us for the rest of the journey. By the way, hold it. Can I ask your name? And we all know my name, so we put that in here, and I actually spelt it right this time, and not like in Wild World, which was a complete failure. Oh, Sbooskie. Well, that's a fantastically great name. And this is the bit where we select the response based on what gender we want to be, I believe. So we just got to go through the generic entry Animal Crossing questions and answers just to determine our character, what we look like, etc. Of course, I named my town Trash once again. I've now got about 3 or 4 instances of Trash on the go. And then Rover presents us with these maps to allow us to choose kind of what layout we want. Kind of like in New Horizons where we could select an island out of maybe 4 options. I was a bit picky on this one and we went through so many different maps and I bet the cat just wanted to leave. But eventually I settled on one. As a kid, I never felt that much pressure to choose a great island, but after being online and playing Animal Crossing and seeing everyone's fantastic, beautiful creations, nowadays I feel so much more pressure to plan everything out and try and make it look at least vaguely decent. I may or may not have looked at the guide again, so yeah. My answers here are based on what face I wanted and what hair I wanted. We then just rounded up the final few questions, before Rover wraps up thanking me for chatting with him, before an announcement goes off on the train saying that we're arriving in Trash and it's time to get off. Rover thanks us for chatting with him, and the intro to the game comes to an end. There is a rumour that Rover was meant to be the mayor, and I 100% believe this. And here we are, arriving in Trash for the very first time. I love seeing the little train going along, it's adorable, and sometimes just when you're walking around the town you just see the train going over, and I absolutely love it. Here we are! Ta-da! Okay, I might have picked the most startled looking face possible. But we'll roll with it, okay? I look kind of scarred, but that's fine. I'm a human living in an animal world. Living with giant talking animals would kind of do that to your face. And I was also so happy here to see Anka. I don't know if I've ever actually had her in my town / island / whatever before. This is a first. She gives us a sass right off the bat. Okay everyone, here we go. Ready? And from those of us in Trash, welcome! In New Leaf, we're mistaken for the mayor. Like I said earlier, I think it was meant to be Rover, but he's just dropped us pretty much in it. We get a little letter in a while that I think adds to this theory. So we go through this awkward intro with everyone being like, you're a real jokester. You're just our mayor, you're just having us on. Meanwhile, we just have no idea what's going on, and I feel like this is something that would 100% happen to me in real life. 10 out of 10. We're given our map, and shown where the town hall is, so that we can go over there with Isabelle straight away. Anka points out that we're different from everyone else, but does say that it's a good thing, so I think she might be okay with us. And off we go. We lead the way into the town hall we've never visited before Isabelle introduces us to the building. And lets us know what her role is too. Perfect for the job? No pressure. Alright, of course we need you to get started right away on your work as mayor. Brilliant, thanks Isabelle. Before she takes her name and then has a little bit of a moment. Turns out I need an address to be mayor in this town. I mean, if I was expected in this town then surely I'd have a pending address. I might have made this arrangement before moving. But hey, let's get into it. Isabel wants us to go and speak to the man himself, Tom Nook. So tells us where the main street is, shows us it on the map, and then sends us on our way to go speak to Nook. Arriving at Nook's, he gives us a nice, warm Nook welcome, asks us if we're that mayor, and then agrees to help us with our first home. Surprise, surprise, it's a good moneymaker for him. He asks if we found a spot, and obviously no, we have not had a single second spare to find a spot yet. So he agrees to follow us out in our hunt for the perfect home location. We do a little bit of aimless running around here, just looking for somewhere comfortable, somewhere with a bit of water, a nice little nook, you could say. Before finally settling on this little area just across the bridge and away from the main town. I thought it was pretty cute, there's water around it, we're probably going to have to destroy all of the wildlife and trees, etc. to build our house there. But you know, that's fine, that's a minor point. We get a little preview of what our house will look like. And then I sign on the dotted line. This is where our house is gonna be. Pretty happy with the choice. But of course, building a house doesn't happen straight away. It takes at least one night. So for now, we're gonna have to live in a tent. Luckily, having played New Horizons more recently, I'm pretty used to that by now. Nook drops mention of the bill and then leaves us alone for the evening. He had to get that in there. He had to. From here, we ran back over to the town hall to see Isabel. Who took our final details and got us all registered up as mayor. Yes, that is my birthday. Please send me cake. And with that, we were all set up and ready to go. This is your very own town pass card. It's like an ID card that proves you live in Trash. We call it the TPC for short. Your TPC is always kept up to date with the latest profile information. And then she just tells us how to access our little profile card, and we're all set up as a resident/mayor. We are good to go. In this game we've got these things called meow coupons, which I guess are kind of like Nook miles, if I remember rightly. You earn these points for doing little initiatives around town, and then you can spend them on things. But I can't remember what. I need to get further into this game again to remember how they're used. I think they're a bit of a later addition to the game. But yeah, I think that's probably where the Nook miles idea kind of stemmed from. Isabel goes through the map with us, just explaining where different things are, such as the plaza. And then we have a lovely little wholesome tree planting ceremony. This tree grows with the town, and it's such a lovely, cute little idea. Honestly, I'm all there for it. Again, IRL, I'd probably screw this up in some way and end up like tripping over the tree or throwing it at anchor or something. But we managed it. We managed it. Mayor Sbooskie, all of us are looking forward to the changes you'll make to our town. Well then. The tree's been planted, so please relax for the rest of the day, Mayor. After we were released from the ceremony, I actually bumped into Chip, who I guess is CJ's predecessor. I'd totally forgotten about him, to be honest, but yeah, I used to run the fishing tourneys exactly like CJ does now. Given the fact I started this game so late, well, I guess it wasn't even 10 PM, but for Animal Crossing it was quite late, so most things had wrapped up for the day. After bumping into CJ, I decided to have a little stop by Nookling Junction. In here we found Tommy, who greeted us, welcomed us in, and was shocked to finally see a new face in the store. He gave us a little introduction, and really all I wanted to do was just buy some basic tools, but of course, I only just turned up here, so the funds weren't exactly funding. We did play a little game of tag around the table. By we playing, I mean I was playing, and Tommy was just having to go along with it. In this game Retail, which is Reese and Cyrus, the little alpaca/llama couple, the alpacas, play a lot more of a role as they do in some of the other games, and we will get to that later. So for now I just sold a few apples, bringing in the big bucks. A whole 240 bells. Unfortunately, the tools are 500 bells each, so we're gonna need a few more apples. Luckily apples are pretty easy to find, and we've not gathered any of them up already, so they're pretty much everywhere. So yeah, I just grabbed a few. Having collected our apples, I ran straight back to Nookling Junction to sell them off, only to oh, it was closed, of course it was. Yeah, 1 minute. I think it might be time travel. BRB. Having definitely not time travelled, We awoke the next day to Pete, who was waiting for us outside. Pete gave us a bit of a description about mail and telling us that if the mailbox is full he can't deliver, etc, etc, before saying he's got to get moving and that he'll see us later before, loitering around in the same place for a little while. Some urgent business you got there, Pete. To keep him happy, we emptied our mailbox. We got a little thing from Nintendo and a random ass letter. But yeah, this is the letter I really think came from Rover. Just give it a good read. And then we also had this one from Nintendo and a bit of a lame gift. I mean, it was an instruction manual for the game, which I guess in a way is kind of cool, but I didn't say I don't need instructions for Animal Crossing. It's fine. From that, I just wanted to take a little look inside of our tent before Isabel stuck her head in real quick. She stopped by just to give us a little tutorial about putting furniture out. She gave us a lantern and just showed us how to move it around the room and do like basic turning it on and off stuff. This is the instruction manual that Nintendo sent us in all of its glorious action. I mean, it's pretty handy to have an instruction manual in the game, but I needed bells. I don't actually know how many it's sold for, but I'm selling everything at the moment. But it's the start of the game, and I'm going to sell everything. Potentially organs included. Heading out of the tent, it was time to get on with our day, before some mysterious question mark text appeared. Who could it be? I did try and run the other way, but it turned out I was actually running to them, unless they just stop in your face. But it was a mysterious character. Inside of a lamp. I wonder who this is. They told us to pick up the lamp and take it somewhere quiet to rub, which we would do later. So yeah, we picked up the lamp and kept it in our pockets for a bit. Top priority was finishing yesterday's business, heading over to Nookling Junction, selling these damn apples, and finally buying some tools. It would be hard to make much more money without having tools in the first place, so this was definitely the priority. Success and tools achieved, we were ready to be a proper Animal Crossing mare. After stopping off at Nookling Junction, I had to do an obligatory stop by the Able Sisters store. In New Leaf, Label's got like a little accessory shop on the side too, so I really wanted to check this out again. Again, I always love visiting this store. I'm always so excited every day to see what the clothing shop has in. I did my little obligatory chat to Sable, which went as well as it would do on the first trip to the shop. Luckily for my bank account, nothing really struck me this time round. And then into the accessories section, where there were some pretty funky things, but again, I'm thinking of my bank account here. Best hold back for at least one day. After visiting the other shops, I thought it was probably time to go see Nook and get our bill. Preparing myself to try and not faint. Oh, Sbooskie, yes, welcome. Have you finished everything you needed to move in? I have, of course, completed running the numbers on your home loan. Sbooskie, yes. Now let us discuss cost. Blah 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 blah. The down payment is nothing more than a petty 10,000 bells, which to be fair isn't that bad considering like Nook's loans are so expensive and I was expecting something a little bit higher. So 10 grand was a bit of a relief, we already have 2. Nook tells us how to make a bit of money. I take a quick look at some of the exterior changes that are on offer and I really like them before heading out again. The next activity to check off the list was fossil hunting. Luckily, this one wasn't a pitfall seed, as usually happens and is usually my luck. This one was actually a fossil. So with this, we actually were about to have an excuse to go and see Blathers for the first time in the museum. While running around, I also had a chat to some of the villagers, such as Rhonda and Anchor. And then even managed to find the money rock. Heck yeah. Making my rounds, I scoped out who the new residents were going to be. Found a shiny gem to flog. You didn't see that. Then I decided it was time to stop by retail and see Reese and Cyrus. When we went in, Timmy was having a little chat with Reese. Oh hello Timmy, what did you bring for me today? I have a tape deck I'd like to look at. Okay, I can take it off your hands for 175 bells. or you can set your own price and put it at the back for somebody else to buy. Which would you like? So in this game, you can sell direct to Reese and Cyrus, or you can put something out on one of these pallets behind them. I suppose it's more helpful if you have other players visiting that can come and buy these things, but this is never a feature I remember really using, although I think you can persuade villagers to buy items off of here. But yeah, again, I've always just sold to them directly, because I don't really fully understand leaving these things out if you're lonely like me and don't have loads of other players coming by. From here, Reese gives us a little explanation herself. After getting over, my mayoral fame. Retail also has high value items, just like Nook does in New Horizons. Yeah, so these are little areas you can use to sell to other people. While we're here, I sell a few things to Reese, before remembering how hilarious it is to pester Cyrus. It won't be long till I'm barred from this shop. After leaving retail, I finally had over 10,000 bells, so it was straight back to Nook to get this down payment sorted. I handed over the cash. Nook counted every single coin, which made him, quote, rather very happy, before work on our house could officially begin. We were allowed to choose a colour for our starter home's roof. The choices were red, blue, yellow and green. It was a tough one, but I went for green. Judge me if you will. And then everything was set in motion to be built by tomorrow. Again, pretty fast house construction, but I'm not complaining. In a change from earlier games, in New Leaf you can actually customise the exterior of your house, which is like, I love it so much. I like the fact you can have things like mermaid doors, mermaid walls. It's beautiful and I love it so much. Thankful to have finally paid off our loan, we legged it out of that shop and headed over to the museum to meet Blathers, who was of course asleep. After we rudely woke him up, Blathers welcomed us to the museum and was like, "Wow, are you the new mayor? I'm Blathers, director of this museum," before giving a little bit of a description about what goes on there. He explains that the museum currently has nothing in it, but conveniently, this new mayor has turned up who's gonna change all of that. As we've already been collecting fossils, we go straight into getting our fossils assessed. Unsurprisingly, as this museum's empty with 0 donations, all of these are new, rare, exciting fossils that have yet to be donated to our museum. So we drop them all off. First ones to Blathers. After visiting the museum, I remember that magical lamp we picked up earlier that we were told to go home and rub, so off we go to do just that. Giving our lamp a rub, out pops Wisp. Ta-da! So, you've summoned me, but I don't believe we've met. I am Wisp, the lamp spirit. Nice to meet you. Should we grant some wishes or what? Wait, why am I all see-through like this? What's happening? I know just the thing. If you have an amiibo, admittedly, in all my years of playing Animal Crossing, I don't know how, but I've never owned an amiibo. I think I need to get some amiibos. So in this situation, I have no use for Wisp, but I'll just keep him in my house, like some kind of prisoner for now. One day I will get some amiibos. On that note, it was magically time for a new day. Kicking it off, we had a little visit from Isabel. So your house is all finished. Congratulations! The lumber smell from a new house is so nice, isn't it? And Isabella brought us over some wallpaper just so we could get settled in. Or just learn how to put wallpaper and flooring down, but we'll pretend she just did it as a nice gift. While she's here, she also talked us through the different camera angles that you can use when you're in your home, just to get a good view of the space. We put our wallpaper straight up, and it was this cute little paw print one, before heading back out. I dropped the old one on the floor just because, inventory space is very limited right now. But what's this? There's like confetti in the air? Could it be? Is that a fabulous outfit I see there, Groucho? Turns out this day was Festival, and here was the flamboyant Pave. 1, 2, 3, and 4. What's wrong with your hips? Why don't they move to the rhythm of the music? How can you stand next to the glory that is Pave and not be gyrating? Hey Pave. Viva! Festival! I love Pave. I'm just gonna put that out there. Pave was very perplexed at how absolutely miserable Animal Crossing Villager was and named us Miss No Dance, which I think is very fair. Miss No Dance is definitely allergic to the groove. They then go on to tell us that we need to catch some coloured feathers in exchange for prizes. So yeah, that was our next day sorted. First up on the list we needed 3 pink feathers. Before committing myself too much to finding the feathers, I just did some of my little daily tasks like finding the money rock and running around aimlessly. Before stopping off quickly to see Isabelle. It was finally time to head to the back of the town hall to sit in the mayor's chair. Oh, Mayor Sbooskie, have you settled in and finished unpacking? Isabelle then tells us how unorganised she is and how bad at unpacking she is, and honestly, same. I've been living where I am for a few years now, and I probably still have stuff that isn't properly unpacked. Shan explains that there's a difference between things you do in the mayor's chair versus what you go to the counter for. Before mentioning that we actually need a town development permit, and then explaining how we go about it. Of course I wanted to set to work on getting this permit straight away, so Isabelle explained that we first needed to own a house, which we do, but then the next step was to gain approval of the residents. A much scarier feat. She went on to explain that our current approval rating was of 16% and we actually needed to get up to 100. So, yeah, a little bit of a feat. I believed in us. We could do this. Permit a little way off, I headed straight back out to go talk to these residents and force them to like me. Surely today would be an easier day than any. It's Festival! Everyone's dancing. They'll be in the mood. Although my next priority on the list was stopping by Nookling Junction once again, just to see if we could get a few more tools. Unfortunately, no luck. It was just the same ones as yesterday. However, after I daily stopped by Sable, I definitely had a lot more luck in the Able Sisters, as they had this really cool Festival dress, which I absolutely think is so adorable. I just needed to get into the Festival spirit. I needed Parvay's approval, okay? Label also had this Festival headdress, which I think she had in yesterday, but today I'd already paid off my down payment on my house, so accessories much more reasonable. Just look at this outfit, 10 out of 10. Before I could truly get into the festivities though, I just needed to stop by Tom Nook's once more, just because, you know, we'd have a whole new loan now. So last time, 10 grand. How much this time? Well, 39,800 bells, which again, I don't think is too bad to be honest. I think we could get that done in a fairly short amount of time. We also get signed up to the Happy Home Academy, which I'm never really a fan of, but I'll just keep that quiet. The idea of house reviewers sneaking into your house when you're out and judging you is kind of terrifying. Imagine if that was a real thing. I'd be done for. This pink door did catch my attention though, and although we're meant to be saving, I couldn't resist. Just look how cute it is. It was a necessity. Finally done with doing business for the day, it was time to head out and enjoy Festival. And that meant catching feathers. This was my first feather, and it was a white feather. I mean, for now we need a pink, but in the long run it was kind of good to get a few different feather colours. But luckily the white one was shortly followed by a pink one. Excited with my new pink feather, I headed straight back to Parvay. Then dropped it on me that I actually needed to find 3 pink feathers. Right, back out we go. Honestly, the task of finding these 3 pink feathers took me so long. Admittedly, I did get a little bit bored of running around trying to find pink feathers at one point, so I did do a little stop off with Blathers to donate some more things. And take a little look around the museum. After spending a lot of time in the museums of other games recently, this one just feels so unfamiliar yet so familiar at the same time. It's really weird. And then it was back to feather hunting. Many decades later, I finally came up with the goods for Parve. 3 perfect pink feathers, and Parve was pretty hyped about it. Parve push, Parve shove, Parve throw your feet first into love, loving festival. This made all the feather hunting worth it, I will just put that out there. Parve loves Parve. You did good for Parve. Parve thanked us and gave us a Parve bookshelf. It kind of makes me want my own furniture collection. The Sbooskie shelf. The Sbooskie lawn chair. Here's a selection of the Parve items I ended up collecting. Minus a chair. I forgot to put the chair out, which is devastating. Leaving Festival and Parve behind, it was time for a brand new day. Although I kept my Festival outfit on for now. We said good morning to Groucho before heading into retail to do some selling. Oh, hello there, welcome. I decided to sell off the spare feathers that I had left from yesterday, which actually fetched a decent amount of money and set us very well on our way to paying off our first mortgage. But then in typical fashion, I kind of just went on a shopping spree and bought a fishing rod, followed by this fit hat. I mean, who can blame me? Fit hat acquired, Groucho had obviously decided I was the fashion police, so asked what I thought about his new t-shirt. Obviously, I told him it was great. And luckily for me, I got a t-shirt in return. Win-win. It wasn't quite my festival dress though. Of course, Red was in town today and I couldn't delay going to see him any longer. It was time to enter the Fox's Den. Red gave us his little introductory conman spiel, we got out of there as fast as we could, and then went back to retail for some more selling. I decided to sell loads of the Parve furniture because as much as I love Parve, I'm not really too into the furniture. And let's face it, we need the cash. So off it went. After getting 36,000 bells for the Parve furniture, I headed straight over to the post office to pay off the remainder of the mortgage. Record timing. Take that, Nook. Before heading straight over to get ourselves into a fresh batch of debt. Nook was very happy to see us, unsurprisingly, saying he always had faith in us paying it back, and then, you know, trying to convince us to expand. But hey, I'd already decided we were going to. Just because I take the loan, it doesn't mean I'm ever going to pay it back, right? To celebrate paying off the loan, I went to the beach to fall on my face. And then caught my very first fish. It was a dab. Brilliant. Before... Oh. I then ran into Pudge, and in exchange for a horse mackerel, he gave me that same shirt again, but just in like a long sleeve edition. This present decided to really rub it in. I don't have a slingshot yet, and every time one of these goes by, it's actually heartbroken. From here I just kept on fishing, catching bugs and digging up fossils, and then donating them all to Blathers. Look at the train going past, it's so cute! The next day we were greeted by Old Mayor Tortimer when booting up the game. New Leaf has the inclusion of a desert island that you can take day trips to. From here you can catch bugs and do similar things to you can in New Horizons on the Nook Market Islands. But one difference is that you can go on little day excursions and do little games with Tortimer, which is honestly so cute. This day also happened to be Valentine's Day, and Isabella made us some cake, which is honestly the cutest thing ever. After collecting all of my Valentine's gifts, you know, from my colleague and my mum, it was time for some much needed home organisation with a chest that I got in the mail. Somehow that fit in my mailbox, but I'm not going to question it. Before greeting our new resident, Tiger Rowan. He didn't seem too happy to see me, to be honest. Because of this, I decided to make myself a little bit more appealing to the residents. I headed straight back to LaBelle, bought this sick new cap to be down with the kids. Hopefully they'll think I'm a cool mayor now. What's up, fellow citizens? For now, this was being paired with a denim skirt and my vest. Fashion. I stopped by Nooks to sign up for the next loan, and this purple roof caught my eye. It is gorgeous, but okay, being thrifty, saving money, I just bought this cap. After digging out one of my collection of chain gang shirts from my giddy dresser, I headed down to the beach to meet Tortimer. Except not this beach, this was the wrong beach. It's the other beach. On my way I stopped off to do my mayoral weed picking duties and get a few more fossils, before arriving on the actual correct beach where Tortimer was actually waiting. Oh Sbooskie, you came just like I hoped you would. Say now, what did I want to see you about? Tortimer goes on to tell us all about his wonderful home tropical island and how we should visit. Okay, count me in, I'm sold already. He explains that there'll be a boat service here in future to take us to the island, which, as you may or may not know, is captained by Cap'n. And I think that's a fantastic place to leave it for today. If you'd like to see us get to the island and have a little look around and see more from this game, then do let me know. Anyway, back to future past me. Let's go. So, all importantly, from this introduction back into the game, is Animal Crossing New Leaf worth picking back up or starting for the first time in 2024? Of course, I'm gonna say yes. Unlike Wild World, which I love, but that admittedly lacks a little bit of actual content to get stuck into, New Leaf is much more of a fleshed out game. While it's not as customizable as New Horizons, which may feel limiting to players that are more familiar with the latest title, there's actually a fair amount of familiarity between the two games. New Leaf definitely holds its own, and in my opinion it withstands the test of time. Have you played New Leaf, or will you be playing it sometime soon? Let me know down in the comments, as I'd really love to hear your stories and thoughts. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, please consider dropping a like/subscribe down below, as it would really help me out. But anyway, until next time, goodbye for now.